Protect your DNA. BioPQQ can promote formation of new mitochondria. Infowarsstore.com.
This is the CBS Evening News with Walter Cronkite.
Good evening. The parents of kidnapped Patricia Hearst today heard directly from their daughter for the first time since her abduction.
As a member of the notorious Symbionese Liberation Army, Sara Jane Olson, formerly Kathleen Ann Soliah, was partly responsible for the death of Myrna Opsahl, the 42-year-old mother of 4 children who was in the bank to deposit receipts from her church during a bank robbery near Sacramento, California on April 21, 1975. Patty Hearst, who was acting as the getaway driver, gave information that led the police to implicate the SLA in the robbery and murder. Hearst also stated that Soliah was one of the actual robbers. And according to Patty Hearst, Soliah also kicked a pregnant teller in the abdomen, leading to a miscarriage. On August 21, 1975, the LAPD discovered several bombs attached to the bottom of their cars. Soliah was accused of planting the bombs in an attempt to avenge the SLA members who had died a year earlier in a standoff with the LAPD. In February 1976, a grand jury indicted Soliah in the bombing case. Soliah disappeared and became a fugitive for 23 years. In 1999, Soliah was profiled on the America's Most Wanted television program. After a tip came in, she was arrested on June 16, 1999. Soliah was then charged with conspiracy to commit murder, possession of explosives, and attempting to ignite explosives with intent to murder. Shortly after her arrest, Soliah legally changed her name to her alias, Sara Jane Olson. After serving 7 years, about half of her sentence, Olson was released from prison on March 17, 2009. This legendary domestic terrorist was allowed to go through the TSA's ultra-secure expedited Precheck system. A TSA supervisor failed to reject the quintessential example of a domestic terrorist as defined by the highest standards of the Department of Homeland Security.
We talked about this whistleblower who said they saw and knew someone in line that was a domestic terrorist, had a conviction, went to jail.
Back in 2008, I believe, we started training our TSOs in critical thinking skills.
According to our investigation, the supervisor ordered that person to go through the pre-check lane.
So basically, we let a domestic terrorist get on a plane.
Olson never applied for a pre-check and would have been ineligible had she done so. So how did she get pre-check status without applying? Listen to this pre-check traveler.
It just showed up on your ticket.
Yeah, it just showed up on my ticket.
With a budget of $7.39 billion and an average failure rate of 70%, not only are the TSA stealing from passengers, declaring 4-year-olds high security threats, and declaring themselves God.
A TSA agent was arrested on January 3rd here at Terminal 1 at LAX. He'd just gotten off duty and was behaving erratically, saying, "I am God, I'm in charge."
But they can't even stop a legendary domestic terrorist from getting preferential treatment. It's blatantly obvious. The TSA has nothing to do with protecting travelers from terrorists. The majority of TSA agents have no clue that they are really just pawns in a giant security theater psyop. The National Consortium for the Study of Terrorism and Responses to Terrorism, a University of Maryland project funded by the Department of Homeland Security, has designated the so-called sovereign citizen movement as the #1 domestic terrorist threat in America. The report takes its definitions from a 2011 study entitled Profiles of Perpetrators of Terrorism, in which the following characteristics are used to identify terrorists. Americans who believe their way of life is under attack. Americans who are fiercely nationalistic, as opposed to universal and international in orientation. People who consider themselves anti-global, presumably those who are wary of the loss of American sovereignty. Americans who are suspicious of centralized federal authority. Americans who are reverent of individual liberty. People who believe in conspiracy theories that involve grave threat to national sovereignty and/or personal liberty. Or, in a nutshell, concerned Americans, no different than the Puritans that embarked on the Great Migration to exercise rights endowed by their Creator, with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. John Bound for Infowars.com.
Symbols are powerful, and the globalists have hijacked the symbols of America. They've turned them into their own symbols. Well, we are restoring the idea of the true republic, not the counterfeit globalist empire, by promoting the icon George Washington and others. That's why we're rolling out an 100% made in America line of incredible pro-liberty apparel. We are repopularizing liberty. We are helping fellow Americans rediscover what made this country great. We are the spirit of 1776. We are 1776 worldwide. We are all brothers and sisters in arms in the animating contest of liberty in the long march towards humanity's ultimate destiny of freedom. Visit madein1776.com today and vote with your dollars to promote truly made in America, high quality products, and promote the ideals of liberty.